Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, talking more about the material that is for my world building toolkit. So we are going to now talk about color controls. We're going to be utilizing the grass for this one. All of this stuff is 100% uniquely me on this part. Um, Not much learning, a whole bunch of messing around. So let's go ahead and get started here. So we obviously have the normal stuff: tint, influence, saturation, brightness, and contrast. So changing that to 0 is going to make everything black, or not black. Yeah, just remove the tint influence, obviously. Change this to 2. So now you can see where the tint influence is at. Just makes things way more intense. And that tint that is being changed, you'll see right here, it changes to blue, is that one. So the tint influence only controls tint 1. Tint 2, it does not. There we go. We'll go back to what we were. Perfect. Then you have the saturation. If I go with 0, everything's going to be gray. And that is so that you can have complete and total control over it, and everything starts with whites and grays instead of the actual color. Obviously, if you're going for an older type of feel, you can, gray things down, but keep it that way. And we can, as usual, oversaturate. And brightness. I tend to use this when I'm intentionally making textures darker, um, or if they're just too bright, like snow usually is. Uh, it literally just makes everything dark or super duper bright. Then you have the contrast, which is literally just, that. Make it 2, makes everything black. Well, not black, but super dark in a different way. So, normal controls. Then tint, we just touched on that. You can change the appearance of your grass to whatever you'd like, or to anything, really. Go ahead and cancel now. And then here we have use color noise mask. This is the mask that I have set by default. And all I'm really doing is making the grass darker. But if I really wanted to, I could go a bit more into the green. Heck, let's go very much into the green. And then hit OK. We now have a bunch of darker greens, which was the intent. So let's go ahead and just greenify everything else a bit. That way it looks a little bit the same. So it's literally, that's how the controls work. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. Okay. And there we go. So the next thing that we have here is the noise mask size. So it starts at 2048. And if we put it at 2048, yeah, you'll see a lot of different color change on a large scale. But as you can see, you can now severely see the tiling. So I utilize this as a very cheap method for anti-tiling, because simply by adding this stuff in there, it reduces it. Obviously, it's still there, but most of it's going to be covered up with grass and other meshes anyway, so it really doesn't matter in the long run for something like this. The noise mask strength, its default is 1, and it literally just changing the strength just makes the darker colors darker. And that's what I prefer. And then you've seen this before in the noise mask that we went over in the last episode. If I were to change this to -2, you're going to start seeing a bunch more dark. Once it's, or not more dark, less dark. -1. I change this to 2, there you go, you're seeing more. So again, just more control for everybody. Whoops, I made everything -1. And then the large variation size and variation intensity. Let's zoom out here. It's a little harder to see in most places, but you can see it right here just fine. It's this stuff right here. So if I change this to 1500, you're going to see it change in size. Then obviously the intensity is just how easy is it to see. So it just gives more of a global control over tiling. It's a cheaper way to do it than doing it the way we're doing it with the cliff. Outside of that, that's everything we were going over in this episode. See you in the next one.